Hello, everybody. Hi, and welcome. It's lovely to see you as always. It's a bitter cold day today, but the sun is shining. Lovely. Aren't we lucky? Today, it is IELTS Speaking Part 3. We're going to look at generating ideas fast in IELTS Speaking Part 3. In case you missed it, on Tuesday, there was a live session about IELTS Speaking Part 2. If you've missed that, go into the channel English Speaking Success, click on the live sessions, and you can go and watch that video. Not now, another moment, right? Because today, we're focused on IELTS Speaking Part 3. I want to give you 6 simple tips that are dead easy to follow that are going to help you sort out IELTS Speaking Part 3 so you become a master of IELTS Speaking. Okay, we're ready? Let's do it. Well, let's begin with a little bit of this.
It's time for Speaking Part 3. It's time for you to see that answering questions fluently can be as easy as ABC.
Oh, and welcome to the Keith Speaking Academy!
Never run out of ideas. Let go of your fears. In Part 3 of the test, it'll soon be over and then you can rest.
Hello, everybody. Let's get you sized up.
Never run out of ideas.
Never run out of ideas.
Over your fears. In Part 3 of the test.
Hello, Ali.
Over and then you can rest.
Nanisha, hello and welcome. Can I make you even bigger? Perfect. Great. Let's see who's here. Hello, Roblox. You're here as well. Nice to see you. Kristin's here. Lovely. Great to see you. Eason, nice. Lovely to see you here as always. Nora's here. Hope you're cooking up something nice today for us. Hello, Eva. Therese, you found us. Excellent. Pleased to see that you're here. Hossein Ditu is here. Lovely. Very welcome. Mabel Esther as well. We've got Mohammed Mahim from Bangladesh. Lovely. We've got Zvonko. Lovely to see you here. I think there are some Uzbeks here. Maybe 1 or 2. The song is AI generated. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Yes. Hello, Sana. Lovely to see you here. Welcome, all of you guys from all around the world. We've got people from Vietnam. Hello, too. We've got Naziha from Kurdistan. Excellent. Where else are we? Bangladesh. We've got Ibrahim from the Sultanate of Oman. Lovely. Great. And all the way on the other side of the world in Japan. Very, very nice to see you all here. Welcome. What are we going to do today? As I mentioned, right, we're looking at IELTS Speaking Part 3, getting ideas, generating ideas. Today's session then will be about 1 hour. I'm going to help you never run out of ideas again. 3 things we'll look at. First of all, I'll just show you your go-to IELTS Speaking website. I wonder which one that might be. We'll find out in a moment. Then I'll give you 5 ways. Is it 5 or 6? It might be 5, it might be 6. But 5 ways to generate ideas, which include Speak and Build, the ORE method, going down the funnel, imperfect answers, and using the question. Really useful tips, I hope. Finally, I just want to talk about the skills box at the very end. To let you know, there is a PDF of today's session, actually. So if you want to join in, you can find it, well, on the Keith Speaking Academy. I'm going to ask Bernd, who's with me, hopefully here, to put a link, just to put in a link for you so you can get the PDF of today's session. You could get it now or you can get it at the end of the session. You know, both of those are absolutely fine. If you're on YouTube, do remember to subscribe and press that notification button so you can find out about other sessions coming up. The PDF looks a bit like this. It's 6 ideas. I thought it was 5. Oh my God, I'm going to have to think of a new idea very quickly. But this will just go through the different ones, Speak and Build, the OR method. If you want a record of this, then you can go and download that. Just check the link. I see Burns has just put it in there. Burns, who works with me. So if whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can go and access that. Excellent. Good. Nice. Zahar Saeed is from Egypt. Lovely to see you. I don't know why these keep becoming smaller. It's like they shrink in the wash. I don't know why. Okay. And Nafis from Dakar. Great to see you guys, all of you. Let's begin with the first one. Well, I have a question, actually. Here's a question for you guys, just to see if you're awake. How many questions will you be asked in part 3 of IELTS speaking? Let's see. Put your answers in the chat, either Facebook or YouTube, and let's see what you think. How many questions will you be asked? Yep, let's have a look. Asif Rahman, I'm very well, thank you. Hello, Nora Nui. Hi, Angela. Raza Buyan, I'm very well, thanks. Salam Samadi, hello. Raju, I'm good, thank you. Interesting answers. Interesting answer. Hi, Huda. Sarah says 3, or is that 3,300,300,033 million? Okay. Interesting. So, lots of interesting questions there, right? How many questions? There is no fixed answer, right? So it depends. But usually, I would say, right, usually 4 to 6. Probably not fewer than 4, right? It would be unusual. And probably not more than 6. If you develop your answers a lot and you talk a lot, you may get 3 questions, maybe 4. If, however, your answers are quite short, the examiner will ask you another question, maybe 5, maybe 6. If your answers are really short, maybe 7, maybe 8, but that's not good. If your answers are really short, you're probably not developing the ideas, the vocabulary and the grammar enough. So you don't want, if you're asked 10 questions, you've got a problem. So I would say usually between 4 and 6, but it does depend on you, right? What is fixed is the time, which is 4 to 5 minutes. So that is fixed. So it's not going to be more than 5 minutes. And it's normally not less than 4 minutes. So it does depend on you, and it can depend on the answer, right? Some questions are fixed, and by fixed I mean scripted, but the examiner can make up questions depending on your answers. Okay. So if, for example, they're asking you about pollution, right? What are the problems with pollution? And you say, well, the big problem with pollution is aeroplanes. Then the examiner might think, right, okay, next question. how can we stop people using aeroplanes so much? Right? They may just use your answer to build another question and go deeper and push deeper into that topic. So depending on your answer, that may decide the next question, which is useful to know because you can prepare for part 3, but you really don't know what the questions will be. Nobody knows. Not even the examiner knows until you're in part 3. So what does that mean? It means you must be flexible, right? Don't memorize stuff. Be flexible. Really important. You must, learn to speak flexibly and think on your feet, as we say in English. Think on your feet means to think quickly, right? You have to think quickly. So that is get your ideas quickly and start speaking. Okay. Right. Good. So I mentioned at the start about your go-to website for IELTS speaking. Before we go any further, let me just share with you your go-to IELTS speaking website is the KeithSpeakingAcademy.com. I'm laughing because it's funny. It is. Listen, if you've not been there before, go here, KeithSpeakingAcademy.com, where you'll learn to speak English confidently to ace the test. You've got information about the test, part 1, 2, 3. Topics are here, so you can have a look through there. I do recommend checking out part 3 because that is what we're doing today. There's lots of good information about that. If you want free live lessons, you can get them here. You can download PDFs, watch the video, and there's all sorts of topics, loads of topics, right down to communication and technology. You can just click on, let's say, computers. And again, you can either download the PDF, you just have to put in your email, but that helps me give you more resources in future. Computers, there's an audio here, or you can just study online here. Now, the live lessons are actually quite long. They're 2 hours long, these topics, right? If you want a short 15-minute pronunciation file to work on, then you can have a look at the Vocabulary Vault. And this is pronunciation files for the vocabulary from my best live lessons. It also has it has stories. You can download stuff. There's the PDFs. They're all in there, as well as the audio files. So if you check in any free live lesson, you can check that as well. And there's online courses. If you're interested in the IELTS Speaking Gold course, you can find out more about it here. There's a video and there's information to tell you all about it. And you can just click to join here. And all you need to do then is enter your details if you're interested. Okay, that is just a flying view of the Keith Speaking Academy, right? If you're interested in it, KeithSpeakingAcademy.com, you can get more information there. Jumping straight back in, let's have a look. We're going to go to number 1. 6 tips to generate ideas quickly. Is it 6 or 5? Okay, the first tip that I'm going to give you is speak and build. Speak and build. So what is speak and build? Let's take a question. Is it important for children to learn music at school? Let's imagine in part 2, you've talked about music, and now part 3, the question is it important for children to learn music at school? Sometimes students panic, or they overthink, or they just block, and it's like, I don't know, right? Sometimes this happens. Does this happen to you?
Is it important for children to learn music at school?
Children? Music? School? What? What does she mean? Important. So children should learn music? Oh gosh, think of an idea. I don't know. Should they? I guess so. It can be fun. But can I think of an example? But hang on. Wait, I need to structure my answer. Let's see. What was the question again?
Okay, then. Let's move on and talk about music for adults. Do you agree that it's a waste of time for adults to listen to music?
Oh, the poor student. Oh dear, oh dear. Overthinking, really too much. And you just block, right? That sometimes happens. Elvira says, I'm always overthinking everything. Nora says, oh Mia, oh, ever happens to me. Gosh, it can happen, right? It does happen. Don't worry if it happens, but let's think about this. The way I think you can handle this situation is very simple, right? Is listen to the question, pause, get an idea, one idea, and just start speaking. Okay? 4 things. Listen, pause, get an idea quickly, one idea, and start speaking. Don't start thinking, is it a good idea? An example? How do I structure this? Cohesive devices? What do I... No. Get one idea, the simple idea, and start speaking. Because once you start speaking, it's like water moving, the river moving. It starts moving more quickly. It's momentum. The hardest thing is to start moving. When you get up in the morning, right, and it's winter and it's cold and you're in bed and you think, I don't want to get up. It's cold and you can't move. You block. But as soon as you get up, take off the sheets, stand up, go and get a coffee, the momentum happens. You start moving. It's easier. It's exactly the same. Just start speaking. Okay? Listen to the question, just pause and start speaking, right? That's what you need to do. Once you start speaking, you can then build, right? So start speaking, say your idea. For example, right, in this situation, maybe you might say, yes, learning music can help develop their creativity. Okay? So you listen to the question, you pause and you think, music's creative, right? Start speaking. Just start. Yes, learning music can help develop their creativity. And then you can start building. Because once you've listened, once you've paused, you get an idea, you start speaking, you can build. Build on what you've just said. You see, many students think they have to give perfectly structured answers. You don't. Just build as you go along. In part 3, don't worry too much about the structure. Just talk and build as you go along, okay? In part 2, yes, a structure is a good idea. But in part 3, you haven't got time. So just build as you go along, right? How do you build? I think that, so you listen, you pause, you get one idea, you start speaking, you build and think aloud. Thinking aloud is a really good way of doing this, right? So one way of building on what you said is literally to think aloud. And this helps you connect your ideas, so it's easier for the examiner to follow you, okay? Because if you think quietly, you'll stop. You're not moving, right? You're stuck. If you start thinking aloud, it can work, right? So you may end up saying something like, well, actually, yes, you may end up doing something like this. Let's have a look.
Is it important for children to learn music at school?
Yes. I think learning music can help develop their creativity. And this can help them get a job in future. I mean, creativity helps them get a job because that is something that is highly valued in the workplace. And the workplace and jobs, well, the marketplace is really tough at the moment, right? So
thumbs up to the teacher. Thank you for that. Yeah, so you can see what he's doing, right? He just started speaking. He just went ahead, right? He listened, paused, got this idea about creativity, and just began saying, yes, I think learning music can help develop creativity, and this creativity can help them get a job in the future. He's literally thinking on the spot. And then clarifying, I mean, creativity helps them get a job because that is something that is highly valued in the workplace. And then there's a new idea. Oh, workplace. Hang on, workplace. Yes, well, workplace jobs. Well, the job market is tough at the moment. And so he's building creativity, future, job, workplace, just building and thinking at the same time. Okay. I know it's not easy to do, but the more you practice this, the more you practice part 3 questions like this and time yourself, the easier it gets, right? You really need to practice. Okay. Great. Good. Let's see. Barbara says, learning music helps to develop their intelligence. Yes, it does. Yes. Let me see. Music helps me calm down and relaxing, says Elvira. Yes. Now, that would be what you would say in part 1, right? But be careful in part 3. Of course, you're going to be developing your answer. Olivia says, to my mind, I'll say yes, because music is a kind of way to relax. It also helps, let me help you. It also helps develop, I'm going to help you here. It helps develop their creativity. You see, these days, music has become fashionable. Ah, yes. And some people take it as a career. Nice, Olivia. I'm just going to help a little bit. Okay? It helps with the S, right? Excellent. Nice. Good. Elior says, learning music can prevent brain diseases related to aging. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Right? Okay. Good. Sarah asks, what about advanced grammar in this part and also lexical? Exactly. Yes, part 3 is a key part to show more advanced grammar and more advanced vocabulary. The more you develop your answer, the wider the vocabulary, right? And this is why you need to dig deeper and deeper and deeper, so you're using more vocabulary. It's really important in this stage. Yeah, and I'll talk more about that in one of the later steps for sure. Yes. Concilia says, learning music helps them memorize a lot of things at once. That's interesting. I didn't know that. Moinel says, learning music can boost their confidence. Okay, interesting. Right, good ideas. Great. So think aloud and just build your answer as you go, right? Let me show you that with a longer example, right? Here's a longer example, a similar thing, right? Where you listen, you pause, get an idea, speak, build as you're going, right? Imagine this question: should children be given a smartphone? A smartphone. It depends on the age. That's the idea. And then age is really important. So we're connecting it. Then we're going into a specific age. For children under 10, I think it's a bad idea because they can become addicted so quickly and they can't control how they use the phone. Addiction is really bad because it has long-term effects. So here, we're talking suddenly about becoming addicted as a problem, and then we build on that addiction talk more about addiction. It's really bad because it has long-term effects. And then build on that, right? What are the long-term effects? Well, an example, such as they can't focus on their work and they don't talk to friends. Focusing on work and studies is essential. So we've taken the idea of the example of focusing on work and then build on that. Focusing on work and studies is essential if they want to do well at school. So the way I see it, if they're under 10, I'd say no. So in the end, there's a summary. But this is not a structured answer. This is making it up as you go along. It's just thinking aloud, thinking and building and building. And as you build, can you see the vocabulary that comes out? Addicted, and then addiction, long-term effects, focus on, focusing on as a noun phrase. And so naturally, as you build and develop, you're going to use different vocabulary, right? So it is important. Develop your answers, but don't structure them. Just start speaking and build. Speak and build. I think that's what I called it, right? Is that what I called it? Speak and build. That's why it's speak and build. That's the technique you need to follow, okay? Let's have a look. Got a question from Amos. I tend to talk more and more, and it gradually becomes rambling. That's a problem. Affecting my pronunciation. How do I stop myself from rambling away? You need to remember the question in your head. So as you're building, try and come back to the question. That's important. So you're building one idea, two ideas, maybe three ideas, and then try and connect back to the question. So always have that question in your head. It is a problem if you're rambling too much because you may go off topic. If you feel you're rambling too much, you've forgotten the question, just stop. Just stop and let the next question come. Right? That's one thing you can do. Okay. On that one, is it important for children to learn music at school? No, we had. Should young children be given a smartphone? There were a few comments up here. Atifah said it can have bad consequences for immature children. Yeah, the smartphone, absolutely. Oh, Nancy, can this method be applied in essay writing? To some extent. The difference, though, Nancy, is that when you're preparing your IELTS writing, you need to make a structure, right? It's like IELTS speaking part 2. You've got a minute to prepare. When you're writing, don't start writing, right? Don't. Just take a minute and plan your structure. So make sure you have a plan and then write out your plan. So it's a little different. You're building ideas, but it's a different approach, I think. Good question, though. It's up to age. As technology is addictive and too much screen time, lovely, screen time can be harmful to children. It isn't a good idea to allow children to have a smartphone. Yes, yeah. And here, so you can build on this, right? You could say it's, well, rather than up to the age, I would say it depends on the age. As technology is addictive, too much screen time can be harmful. It isn't a good idea. You could say why it's harmful or how it's harmful, right? It can harm or damage their eyesight, and later they may need glasses. If you don't mind, I'm just going to add, just as we build, right, the kind of thing we could build, it depends on the age. As technology is addictive and too much screen time can be harmful, it isn't a good idea. You know, screen time, it can damage eyesight, and later they may need glasses. And having glasses can be bad for some children because they may be bullied at school. You're building, right? You're building on screen time, harmful, harm, eyesight, glasses, bullying. You're building as you go. Literally, not literally, metaphorically, building a house as you go, right? Great, thank you for that. Lovely, lovely example. Good. As is asking, how can I slow my voice speed? Speak, record yourself, listen back, and just slow down. Seriously, slow down. Just take your time. Try and speak a little bit more slowly. Sounds strange, but it's a good practice. It's a very good practice, really, to slow down. Yeah. Nora says, nope. Should children be given a smartphone? Nope. Limiting screen time helps them encourage their education. Parents should manage them to use phones or watch TV after they finish their homework. Homework, yes. Just remember, homework is always singular because it's uncountable. I know, homework. Good. Encourage their education. Then you've talked about parents should manage their phones. So you could add, parents could manage their phone use by controlling the app, by having conversations with the children, or by having limited time sessions, or by having phone-free meal times. So you can build on your answer, right? So whenever you say something like that, then just start building straight away as you're speaking. So you could say they can manage their time by talking more to their kids, and maybe having meal-free times, phone-free meal times. Okay, so limit screen time. Parents manage that. They can manage their time by talking more to their kids, maybe having a phone-free meal time. Okay, so it's building. It's building as you go. Excellent. Good. Now, I'm going to move on to the next one, to number 2. And number 2, well, before number 2, actually, some water.
Ba-da-shee-be-doo-be-doo-be-bum-bum-bum.
Okay. Number 2 is the OR method. And this is about developing your answer more, but getting ideas. Very, very simple. What you could do is give your opinion, give a reason why, and then the example. Okay? The example is really, really important. Now, we did this up here, actually. It depends on the age, is your opinion, right? I think age is important, is the opinion. And then, such as was the example, right? We talked about long-term effects, such as, that is an example. So, in a way, this is the OR method. Let me give you a simpler example. I'm going to go back to that same question. Is it important for children to learn music at school? Yes, I think it is. That's the opinion. Because it can help develop their creativity, which is important to get a job. That's the reason. For example, many young people who only focused on passing school tests are now finding it hard to get a job. That's an example. That is a very simple way of doing it. Yes, I think, blah, 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 because, blah, 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 for example, blah, 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 right? That's a simple way to do it. I wouldn't use this all the time, but certainly you can practice this when you're preparing and practicing questions. You can use this structure. Yes, because, for example, that might be an easy way to do it. of course you can use different words, right? And sometimes you won't use these words. But often, in part 3, many answers have an opinion, a reason, and an example, right? I'm just catching up with your messages. Okay. Here, yeah, so you won't always say yes because, for example, not all the time, but that's a simple way. You may find something like this. Yes, I think it is. Sorry, it's the same question. Just let me make that clear. Yes, I think it is. Learning music can help develop their creativity. That's the reason. This can help them get a job in future. That's a reason, right? You don't have to say because you don't have to. And the example, many young people who only focused on passing school tests are now finding it hard to get a job. That's the example, right? You can say, for example, for instance, or just give an example. You don't have to use a signpost. So there are different ways of doing it, but this kind of structure or idea of my opinion, I think, blah, 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 yeah, and the reason is blah, 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 and here's an example, that's a nice way to develop your answer. Super simple. For instance, for example, exactly. Is it okay if we use this method for all part 3 questions? Yes, but I wouldn't use yes because, for example, for every answer. I think it's too memorized. It's too stiff. It sounds robotic. I think for 1 or 2 answers, that's fine. Yes, because, for example. But the idea of opinion, reason, example, absolutely. You can use that for every answer. Yes, for sure. Good question, Atife. Thank you. Star, can I say, in my opinion, it is? Sure. Yeah. In my opinion, the way I see it, I think, I guess, I suppose, yeah, any of those, whichever feels natural in that moment. Yes. Alexander says, is it important to learn music? Yes, it's important because some children with musical abilities will not be able to implement it without musical education. My mother is still jealous to people who had such a chance in their life. Right, interesting. So let me just add here. I'll just put this in, which might help everybody. It's good, Alexander. Great. So what you've done is say, yes, it's important. That's your opinion. Because some children with musical abilities would not be able to implement it without musical education. That's the reason. And then the example, my mother is still jealous of people who had such chances in their life. Yes, jealous of, I've just realized, jealous of people who had such chances in their life. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Now, the examples in part 3, generally speaking, you don't want to give personal examples. You want to be much more general. Now and again, sometimes a personal example is okay. Maybe 1. But most examples should be more general, right? Okay, good. So here, Alexander, you could just change my mother for lots of people. You could just make it more general, right? May says, the way I see it's a good idea. Yes, the way I see it. The way I see it, comma, the way I see it, it is the situation. It's a good idea, right? You need it twice, but great, yes. I agree to some extent. Yeah, good. Isioma, from my perspective, yes, Slightly more formal, but yep, it could be. Again, it depends on the context, but yes, to my mind, yes. As some research shows, yeah, you could. If you can quote research even if it doesn't exist. It's okay. Can we say I believe? Yes, but notice the difference. I believe and I think is not the same, right? I believe is much stronger. I believe is, is a conviction, a belief. Something is much stronger. I think is not so strong. So you can use it, but use it when you want to show a strong thought or opinion. Okay. What else? Daniela says, music is a perfect way to show up ideas and communicate. Yes. In my humble opinion, you could do. In my humble opinion is often used as a joke, right? For humor in English. It's absolutely fine. It's great. But be aware that English people often use this as a kind of a humorous way of saying, in my opinion. But it's fine. Yes. Yeah. In my opinion. Yeah. In my humble opinion. I mean, say that if you are really being humble as well. I assume is good. Yes. I do believe. Yes, but notice the difference. I think is soft. I believe is stronger. I do believe is more, even stronger. Right? I think, I believe, I do believe is the strongest because it's emphatic. I do believe. So yes, you can. Yes. Is this method enhance our band score? No. No. Your ability to speak English will enhance your band score. The method is just a tool to practice and get better, right? What matters is your ability to use this and to speak fluently, with lots of vocabulary, with more complex grammar, with great pronunciation. That's what you need, right? Fluency, vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation. So don't see this as a trick to a high score. It's not, and it's not a special technique that gets a higher score. It's not. It's just a good way to practice. But great question. Thank you for that. I really like that question. Yes. Excellent. Good. That then was number 2. Oh, I've got one more. Have I got one more? No. I've got a tip. I've got a tip for you. Let me show you the tip. The tip is record your answers. Listen back, and after every sentence or idea, ask yourself why. So this is a way for you to develop your answers. Always ask why. When you're practicing at home, try this, right? So you may get, for example, is it important for children to learn music? Okay, yes, I think it is. Learning music can help develop their creativity. Why? Why does it develop their creativity? I don't know. Or why learning music can help them develop their creativity. Why does it help develop their creativity? That's a good question. Why does music help develop their creativity? Because music makes us think in different ways. Okay. Why? Why does music make us think in different ways? Because it forces us to improvise. Why? I don't know. And at some point you'll stop and go, I don't know. But you're forcing yourself to think. You're building your thinking skills. And this helps you get ideas. For example, learning music can help them get a job in future, right? Learning music can help them get a job in future. Why? Why? Because it makes them more creative. Why? Because it makes us think in different ways, right? And so on. Or why? Because creativity is a valuable skill in the workplace. But then, okay, why? Ask yourself why. Because in the information age, we don't need information, we need creativity. Oh, to solve problems, we need more creativity. We need more creativity. We don't need more information. And then keep asking yourself, why? Why? Until you go crazy. Well, we don't need more information because we live in the information age, because AI can get all the information. Okay, good. Why? Because governments have invested in AI. And it goes on and on and on. And the idea basically is that everything you say, just ask yourself why. Why? And it really makes you think. And sometimes you'll go on the internet and research and check. But what's going to happen is your ideas go from small to bigger, to bigger, to bigger. And you're going to gather lots of ideas and you're developing your thinking skills. That's the most important. You know how important critical thinking is, right? Well, just ask yourself why to everything you say today, and you'll see how you start thinking more critically, differently, and generate ideas. So ask why. Very simple. You'll go crazy a little bit, right? But don't worry. You'll be going crazy in English. So that's the tip. You can record yourself, listen back, and after every sentence, just ask yourself why. It's it's really interesting. Try it out and see, okay? Right, good. Where are we? How we doing? Oh, look at the time. Gosh, I've got to move on. First of all, ba-da-shee-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo-be, bum-bum-bum. Friar, I agree. Even in your mother tongue, I agree. Yes. I'm very glad to be teaching you. Hacky, very good idea. Really good idea. Yes, like it very, very much. Okay, guys, let's move on to number 3, which is to go down the funnel. You can see the guy here is going down the funnel. A funnel, if you don't know, this is a funnel, right? If some of you cook or whatever, a funnel basically at the top is very wide and at the bottom it's very narrow. Wide, narrow. What I mean in IELTS speaking is you start very wide, like very general idea, and you go down to a more specific idea. General, specific. Okay? That's a great approach for IELTS speaking part 3, is just speak generally and then go down to specific. Your examples are specific, right? So you go down the funnel, go from the general to the specific. Let me show you an example. Is it important, again, same question, is it important for children to learn music at school? Yes, I think it is. It can help them in many ways. For example, they learn to play a musical instrument. Okay? Many ways is the general. That's very general, many different ways. The example is the specific. And that's it. Simple as that. Super simple. You go from general down to specific. It's another way of thinking, right? General to specific. For example, right, has the way we shop changed in recent years? Yes, I think it has. It's changed in a lot of ways. General. There are more online shops nowadays. Less general. For example, Amazon, one of the biggest, only sells online. Specific, right? So this is going down the funnel. It looks like this. I've tried to make it into a funnel, right? Has the way we shop changed in recent years? Yes, I think it has. It's changed. It has changed in many ways. Top of the funnel. There are more online shops. We're going down, more specific, more specific. Amazon, specific example, right? So this is a funnel. You can actually see the funnel that we're going down. It's a way of thinking about it, right? I think the simplest one really is just this, is something general, something specific. You can talk about many ways and then you give a specific example, right? This is a more complicated, not complicated, it's more elements, right? A lot of ways. Then you give an example, right, of the ways, many ways, well, more online shops, and then a specific example, Amazon. And if there's one thing you remember today, if there's only one thing you remember, is that the key to part 3 is examples. The key to part 3 is examples, because the example is where your vocabulary gets wider and wider. Amazon, one of the biggest retail companies that sell, they have these big warehouses where they distribute all of the goods that they're selling around the world. But people don't go to the warehouse, they book and they buy it online at the click of a button. The vocabulary is just, it's just become so much richer, so much wider, bad English, but you know what I mean. It's become much wider. And so that is the example, right? If there's one thing you remember, the secret to part 3 is examples. Examples. That's it. You can go home now. Don't go home. Stay with me, okay? There we have it. Good. Yes, Sarah, it's similar. That similar idea. Good comparison. Yes. Great. I have my IELTS exam after 20 days. After 20 days, sir. I'm going to help you straight away with something very simple, because a lot of people say after 20 days, but actually the correct way to say it is I have my IELTS exam in 20 days. Great. That gives you 20 days to practice all of these ideas, and listen, good luck. I hope it goes really, really well for you. Yes. Hello, Habibi Fun. Oh, Roblox. Yes, new mic. Yes, take a moment. Look at this. How lucky I am. New microphone. It's great. It looks a bit, I don't know, like a podcast or a radio show, but it means I can type. Right? I've got my keyboard here. It just makes typing so much easier. Before, I had to wrestle my desk mic, so now it's easier. Sarah, no need to limit ourselves, for example, 1 minute. I think that's a good idea in part 3. Yeah, maybe limit yourself to 1 minute. Certainly not 2 minutes, but yes, I mean, yeah, one step at a time. I think timing I would do later. First, I would focus on generating ideas, using these techniques to create more ideas. Yes. Okay. Great. Christine likes the mic. Good. Please you like it. Right, let's move on. Number 4. Number 4 is interesting, but it's quick, but it's interesting. Imperfect answers. So here's the key. Another key. Lots of keys. Don't try to give perfect answers. Allow the examiner to follow up. Do you remember at the start I talked about overthinking? And we saw the clip of me going, I need to structure my answer. And overthinking. Don't try to give a perfect answer. Speak and build and just start talking. Opinion, reason, examples, yes. Go from the general to the specific. But it doesn't need to be perfect. The worst thing you can do is memorize and try to give a perfect answer, really well structured, because that is not how we speak. So if your answer, like in the middle, you're like, I've got no idea, then shut up. Be quiet. Let the next question come. Because the worst thing you can do is, so I was going, oh gosh. It looks terrible. If you don't know what to say, you're like, you've given half an answer, you've talked a little bit, and just say, yeah, and that's it. And shut up. And let the examiner follow up. Because remember, they will ask the next question based on your answer. So if you haven't got the idea, the examiner will be thinking of an idea to ask you next. So let the examiner do the work. Right? So don't try to give perfect answers. Allow the examiner to follow up. If you've given an answer but can't develop it anymore, relax. Just let the examiner ask you a follow-up question. Because remember, part 3 is not scripted, most of it. The examiner can and will ask follow-up questions based on what you've said. Isn't that good? That's great news. Just relax. Enjoy. Roblox, I agree. It's all about making it conversational. Harjat, I hope these tips can help you tomorrow. Will the recorded version of this lesson be uploaded? The recorded version is on YouTube. Yes, it stays on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube and watch it there later. It stays there. Same place. Yep. Number 5. We just have time for number 5. Is to use the question. Use the question. What do I mean? Part 3 has different kinds of questions, right? How you get your ideas and develop your answer will depend on the kind of question. Now, what are the different question types in part 3? Simple. Go to the Keith Speaking Academy, right? Remember the Keith Speaking Academy.com. Go there. Go and have a look at IELTS Speaking Part 3. Scroll down and it says Part 3 questions. Here we go, sample questions. And here you'll see the question types. How has blah, blah, blah changed in recent years? How will blah, blah, blah change in the future? And there are 5 very common question types. And there are some examples here as well. Okay. Now, the question type is going to influence how you get your idea. And I'll just give you an example of this to make it pretty clear. What about the question, how has blah, 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 changed in recent years, right? How has something changed in recent years? For example, how has shopping changed in recent years? How might we get ideas for this question? I don't mean what are the ideas. I mean, how can we get the idea? Well, let me show you. Given the time, I'll show you. You might begin in the past. Yep. You might begin, well, we used to buy everything in brick and mortar shops. Okay, we used to in the past. And you can talk about the past. So your ideas about the past. We used to buy everything in brick and mortar shops. If I wanted to buy clothes, I had to go to the shop, try on the clothes in the fitting room, blah, 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 blah. Talk in the past. Your ideas come from the past. And then you can talk about the change. Well, as technologies have developed as technologies developed, the way we shop has also changed. Online shopping has become more popular. So people buy clothes online. You can talk about the change, right? And that will give you more ideas. And then you can talk about now. You can even buy food online now. Nowadays, you don't have to go to the shops. If I want to buy a jumper, I can go online, I can see avatars, and I can try the different clothes on the avatar, and I can even pay online. I don't need to go to the shop. Blah, 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 blah. So the ideas can come from now, they can come from the change, and they can come from the past. For this kind of question, right? How has blah, blah, blah changed in the past? Sorry, how has blah, blah, blah changed in recent years? So this kind of question, it's a certain way you can get ideas, right? The past, the change, and the now, today. Let me put this on one page. It might make it easier to follow. Okay, so you can see, you can get ideas by talking in the past, ideas by talking about change, and ideas by talking about now. So that question, that's one way to approach it, right? With different questions, you can approach it in different ways. We don't have time today to go through all the different ways and different questions, but this just gives you an idea, right? Okay. Nina, some of your ideas up here. Wonderful. Oh, wonderful. Great. Thank you. I think the legacy of the pandemic had a strong impact on the way we shop. Yes, good. Sometimes it's really tricky. When I'm following your tricks, it gives me an easy way to explain. Great, great. That's the Peaky. Is that the Peaky Blinders? It looks like it, yes. Oh, thank you so much. Alexander, it has changed a lot. We had constant deficit of goods during my childhood. Nice, right? In the past. Recently, one of the biggest problems is too wide choice of goods, even under so-called sanctions against the ruling regime. Right, very, very interesting. I'm just going to add here, because this is a really good example to show people, right? So what you've done here, Alexander, you've talked about the past. We had a constant deficit of goods. And then the change recently, one of the biggest problems is too wide a choice. The change and now, I guess you've put the change and now together kind of in the same thing. Although your first sentence is the change, right? That's great. It's a really nice answer. Of course, for part 3, you're going to continue developing and building on those ideas, right? Can we use the word transformed? Yes. In that case, in that situation, yes. We can say it's changed a lot and mention the things that have changed and compare between the past and the present. Yes, exactly. That comparison is a great way of developing the answer. Nice. Really good. Daniela says, today is easier to go to a mall and find every kind of shop and buy what you are looking for. Well, yes, that is true. Yes, that is true, actually. That was almost the opposite, but it's also true. Yes. Ali says, hi, Ali, good to see you. You can talk about the past. We used to go shopping, for example, buying clothes. Now it has changed a lot. For instance, shopping online, and talk about Amazon, talk about the future. Yes. So that switching of tenses, those examples, you can see how not only your vocabulary is going to be wider, but think about the grammar, the tenses, the past, the comparison, the future, the present. Wow, right? Full of interesting grammar. Very, very, very nice. Good. Excellent. Okay. Well, oh gosh, it is time to finish. So number 6, because I promised you 6. Okay, here's number 6 very quickly, is subtopics. Practice talking about subtopics. So in part 2, imagine you get the question, describe a traffic jam you saw. The topic really is pollution, right? Your part 3 is always going to be a subtopic, right? It really is. Part 3 goes into subtopics. It's not about big topics. It's digging deeper. It's like the funnel, right? Pollution, noise pollution, light pollution, air pollution, it goes down. So subtopics are really important. So research and study subtopics. For example, air pollution, pollution in cities, solutions for pollution. All of these could be subtopics. And this is going to help you build wider vocabulary and build flexibility. Where do you find the subtopics? My friend, of course, go to the Keith Speaking Academy, go to the part 3 section, IELTS Speaking part 3 topics. You'll not only get your topics here, but you'll get subtopics, right? Examples of animals, wild animals, hunting and extinction, zoos, pets, animals in research. These are all subtopics you want to be thinking about. And if you want a particular lesson, just click and you can go and get your lesson about animals. And that covers the subtopics in here, okay? So go and check it out on your, there they are, all the subtopics. Go and check it out on your go-to website for IELTS speaking. And you can find out lots of information that you may need. I think one of the key things to remember, right, is these methods or tips are tools and ways of thinking about IELTS. What's really important is that you practice, right? There's no magic in the tips. These are tools and methods that work. You also need to practice. Study, practice, review, keep doing that, right? Develop the skills that you need. I call it the skills box, right? In IELTS speaking, you need to build your vocabulary. You need familiarity with topics and subtopics. You need to get plenty of ideas, which is why I talked about thinking quickly. Speak and build. Speak and build. Develop your thinking skills. Ask why. Why? Develop the thinking skills, right? Get ideas. Use good ways to practice and build your flexibility. They're the skills that you need. If you want to build up your skills further, if you do, and you're interested in doing it through an online course with me, I have the IELTS Speaking Gold course. It's essentially 3 courses in one. You've got exam strategy, interaction, and you've got self-study area. If you're interested, again, it's just go to the website, Keith Speaking Academy, click on the online courses or the gold course link, and that will just give you more information about it. And if you're interested, you can just go through, you can join directly, payment with credit card or PayPal if you're interested. At the moment for the gold course, it used to be $197. We're discounting it now, $40 off. It's $157. So you just put in your payment information, you register with an email, and you can buy there. If you're interested, that's it for today. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. As some of you asked, the video for this stays on YouTube and Facebook. There is the PDF. If you haven't got the PDF, or if you want the PDF of all of these tips, Just go to the link. Burns is going to put the link in again. You can go and download the PDF and just review these methods and techniques and keep practicing. That's the key. Just keep practicing. Okay, good. I'm trying to think. Keith, is it possible to... Yes, so the PDF, yes, as we mentioned, is there. Excellent. How can I enter the website? KeithSpeakingAcademy.com. This one, KeithSpeakingAcademy.com. Okay, anything else coming up? Any other urgent questions? Okie dokie, thanks a million. Great, Sarah, you're very, very welcome. Lots of questions about reading and writing, maybe another day. In fact, soon, in a week or so, I'm doing an interview with an IELTS teacher, and we're going to talk about IELTS writing. So watch out for that. Coming up soon. Excellent. Good. Next live. When you open up a live again, it's a good question, Sarah. Let me just bring you back. The next live, I'm not 100% sure, but it's going to be in March. So the date to be confirmed, the topic to be confirmed. One of the reasons is next week we have a live lesson for the gold students. I just talked about the gold course. When you join the gold course, the students get more live lessons. We do one next week and there's one the week after. So to let me focus on those live lessons, I'm not doing them on YouTube. I'll be back in the beginning of March doing more live sessions on YouTube. But if you want to follow me, you've got YouTube. You can join the gold course, do more interaction with us, and improve the skills you need for IELTS speaking. Excellent. I'm going to finish with some music again. I'm going to give you another song. Some of you know I have a idioms course, 150 idioms. I've started to add songs to it using the idioms. Here's a new one that's come out, and it's called Keep Your Head Above Water. When times are difficult, you need to keep your head above water, right? Keep going. I know as students preparing IELTS, sometimes it's difficult and you feel that you're going under the water. Stay motivated. Keep your head above water. Stay with me. I'll keep you motivated, but stay with everybody here because this community on YouTube and Facebook will also motivate you. So here we go. Let's finish with a bit of music to help you on your way. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. Really, really enjoyed it.
Her bookstore was her pride, a legacy
Next week, Kristin.
her passion deep inside. But times were tough. Sales took a hammer.
Thank you.
She had to think outside the box.
Thanks, Reno.
To make her business grow. And keep your head above water when the tides are strong. Find a way to push ahead, even when it feels all wrong. With a heart full of courage, you can weather the storm. Write your own success story and keep your
Thanks.
spirit warm. She didn't throw in the towel. She gave it all her heart. Turned her store into a cafe, a fresh and daring start. Book clubs, poems, and workshops lit the place with cheer. Reader's Retreat became a hub for all who gathered near.
Thanks for joining. Keep your head above the water.
When the tides are strong.
Thanks, Christina. Oh, Ali, that's you.
Her efforts paid off richly. The cafe thrived with life.
Roblox next Thursday, 12 p.m. Spain time.
Through struggle, strife. She went the extra mile, gave it all she could.
Great to see you, our runner.
Her bookstore stood triumphant, like she always knew it would. Keep your head above water when the tide.
Thank you so much, Huda. I hope you're well.
Find a way to push ahead, even when it feels all wrong. With a heart full of courage, you can weather the storm. Write your own
No food for me
success
today.
story and keep your spirit warm.
Great. You too, Nora.
Keep your head above water when the tides are strong. Find a way to push ahead, even when it feels all wrong. With a heart full of courage, you can weather the storm. Write your own success story and keep your spirit warm. And keep your spirit warm.
See you there, Emmy. Lovely. Keep your head above the water, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.